Okay, welcome everyone to our session this afternoon on notifications and settings in Canvas, or how to stop Canvas from being quite so chatty and filling up your inbox, and all sorts of other little useful stuff about communication settings in Canvas. I'm Dave Giberson. I'm an old retired instructional design coordinator. Used to work with online pathways at the district, and I'm just coming back and helping out a little bit here. It's great to see you today. I recognize most of you, and it's always nice to see new folks. We'll be taking, this will be a fairly brief session today in terms of the presentation, because this doesn't take a long time to figure out or to show, but it is quite important stuff, so we'll take some time with it. But we should have lots of time for questions today, both on notifications and settings and anything else you have questions about. And as always, I will not leave until all of your questions are answered. So let's take a look at quickly at an outline of what we're going to be doing today. Get that back up here. There we are. All right, we're going to start off looking at your Canvas user profile. And the main thing we'll look at there is your profile picture and how to add that if you haven't done that already. That's something that your students really like to have, and it's something you can have fun with. Then we'll look at your settings, your Canvas settings, including things like the email address that's associated with your Canvas account and some of the implications of that. How to set up other methods for Canvas to contact you, like mobile app notifications and text messaging, SMS. Canvas has that capability built in. How to change your password for Canvas, very useful. How to, well, there's not much to utilize about web services, and various feature options that you can set in your account. Then we'll spend a lot of our time talking about notifications. Notifications are messages that Canvas sends you when certain events take place within your course or any of your courses. And there are like 20 different events that can trigger notifications. And so Canvas can literally fill up your inbox with messages, and you may not want all of those. So you may not need all of those notifications. So we will see how you can set your own notifications and govern how and how much Canvas communicates with you. And then we'll look a little bit at your file management options in your account outside of your courses. Okie dokie, let's go to Canvas and get started with that. And I'm not getting much in the way of background noise right now, so I'm just going to leave that, leave everybody unmuted, or not mute everyone, I should say. Please speak up when you have questions. We've got plenty of time today. If we do start getting some background noise, which is quite possible, can happen out of your control, I'll mute everyone, but I'll leave you the ability to unmute yourself at any time. Okay, so most of what we're going to talk about today is accessed under the account link in the so-called global access menu in Canvas, or the system menu, sometimes called. This gray bar here appears on every Canvas screen. So you always have access to it. And to access your account, obviously, you just click on the account link. If you've uploaded a profile picture, you'll see a little thumbnail image of yourself here, or of whatever you've uploaded. If you haven't, you'll just see a silhouette there. But the first thing we're going to learn is how to put a picture in there. So let's go ahead and click on the account. And we'll go first, the account link, and then we'll go first to the profile section of your account. This is your user profile, your basic user information. Probably the most commonly accessed information on this profile is your profile image. That profile image will show up a bunch of places in Canvas. Notably, if you post to a discussion forum, your profile image will show up there. When you grade something for a student, your profile image will show up in the feedback. So it's not like it's coming from a robot or something. They see your image. And there are other places it'll pop up in Canvas from time to time. It's a way for your students to know what you look like. And remember, in a fully online course, especially if you're not using Zoom, like we are now, to communicate with your students may in fact not know what you look like. And I know that doesn't sound like it ought to make a big difference, but it does. In an online course, students feel a sense of psychological isolation when they're taking courses at a distance, when they don't sit in the classroom with you and see you moving and talking and looking at them and see your facial expressions and so on. They really miss that. And this is one little bitty way that, among many, that you can use to mitigate that psychological isolation, just by providing a picture of yourself. It's more important than you'd ever think it would be. It's very simple to upload a picture of yourself here. To get started, you just mouse over that circle there, which may or may not have a picture in it already, and click on the little pencil icon that pops up. That's a universal edit symbol. So we just click on that and we get a select profile picture dialog box, a place where we can take care of that. The most commonly used option here is to upload a picture that you already have on your computer. You've taken a picture with your smartphone or a digital camera and you've loaded it onto your computer. But you can also just take a picture. Unfortunately, I have too many webcams. There's no way to tell Canvas which webcam to use, and I have several attached to this computer, so that's not going to work for me. But if you have just one webcam and you're not in a Zoom meeting right now, that's why this is coming up. This is a well, I probably could make that work. This little spinning circle is an app, using an app on your smartphone or tablet that will allow your smartphone's camera to serve as a webcam with Canvas or with other applications as well, like Zoom. And let me see if I can get that to work for you, since we have time for that today. It's worth seeing. It's trying to connect. There we are. Now I got to tell it to use the right camera. It's using the back camera. There we go. There I am. That's not necessarily a good thing. That's what I was trying to accomplish. Okay, if I set my smartphone down here, prop it up. Okay, now Canvas is using that camera, and I can just look at the smartphone and take a picture. Oh, and down, it's down here. Sorry about that. And then just save it. And that's probably the easiest way to put your profile picture in. In my case, nothing I do is going to make that look good, so I'll take that one for now. And that, you know, if you don't happen to already have a picture on your computer, if you do, you can just click that pencil again and select upload a picture here, and then click at the bottom down here, choose a picture. And you can go to wherever you have your pictures stored on your computer, and you can just look for a picture. I've often been told that Alfred and I were twins when I was young. When you do that, you get a little crop circle that you can move around, drag around, click and drag around. You can make it a little bigger, a little smaller at need, so that the picture is centered properly and covers, the circle covers the part of the picture you want visible. And save. So adding your profile picture is not a big deal. There's also a little biography here that you can put in. If you go to edit profile, if you go to this menu option up here in the upper right hand corner that's not labeled and just kind of stealthy up there and easy to miss, but if you click on that menu symbol, you can edit your profile and you can add a biography.
Dave?
Yes.
I looked away. I was taking some notes. Where did you find that, the biography thing up at the top? You clicked on something up there on the left side?
Yeah, up here in the upper right.
Upper right?
This little menu button here allows you to edit your profile.
The one that's blinking red? Blink. I have it on the left side. You say it's the right side?
Well, this menu button here allows you to edit your profile, but your account button is over here on the upper left. Yeah, in the global access menu, the Canvas global access menu. And I went to the profile.
Okay, so in that left side by the menu thing.
Yeah, where it says account. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You bet. So you can put in a little biography. I forget what it's limited to, a few hundred words. You can put in links, like if you have a personal web page or something like that, you can put that in here. I don't have anything like that, so I'm not going to worry. Well, I could put in the closest thing I have to a personal link. Oh, this is the title, sorry. On-demand video site. And the URL is, you can type or paste it in. It's our video tutorial site. And then I can save the profile. Like I say, what you'll mainly use that for is putting in your profile image.
Dave?
Yes.
I was watching one of your videos at a friend's establishment, and her little girl thought you were Santa Claus.
It's that background, the lake and everything.
Yeah, I know. I used to always know when it was time to trim my beard because people would start saying that. I'll never forget the time I was driving around, stopped at a stop sign, and some guy was standing at the crosswalk waiting to cross, and he looked at me and he just shook his head and said, "Ho, ho, ho," and walked ahead. I didn't run him down. But Uh,
She thought you were a cool looking Santa.
yeah, yeah, don't need the pillow either. Okay.
On that link, can we put Facebook?
Yeah, sure. You put
Okay.
anything in there, and you can have more than two. It gives you 2 spaces, but you can have as many as you like.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so let's talk next about settings. That's the second most important or most frequently used thing that you're going to see in there. The settings are basically your personal account preferences in Canvas. And most of this you'll probably never do much with. But the things that are most important on this page, for starters, are the email addresses here. You can have one or more email addresses associated with your Canvas account. It's these email addresses that Canvas will use when it needs to communicate with you. So you need to choose them wisely. By far the most common choice is your district email address, as I have here. Indeed, I think that's now mandated. I don't think you can avoid having that one there. Yes.
Dave, can students see all your email addresses?
No, they can see none of them.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about that. And in many cases, the only thing you'll see there is your district email address. That works fine. And indeed, your district email address pretty much has to be your primary account or your primary email address with Canvas if you want to use the Confer Zoom app in your course menu, in your Canvas courses. In order for that integration to work, your primary email address in both Canvas and PeopleSoft have to be your sdccd.edu district provided email address. We've talked in Zoom introductions many times about whether or not you need to use the Confer Zoom app in Canvas. The answer is you don't have to. It's a convenience. Some people like it, some people don't. The main thing I don't like about it is that it won't let you use your personal meeting room in Zoom. And that, to me, makes it useless because I insist on doing that. But that is something you have to consider when you're choosing an email address here. Another thing you might consider when you're choosing an email address to use with Canvas is the amount of traffic that Canvas can generate in your inbox. We'll see how you can control and mitigate that traffic here in a few minutes, but at the very least, Canvas is going to send you messages from time to time. Some people just have those many people just have those drop into their district email inbox. But they can tend to get lost among all the district messages that you get. I'm trying not to say the word spam, but I can't stop myself. But those messages can get interspersed with other important messages and other less important messages. And it can be difficult to find them when you need them. Also, Canvas can generate quite a bit of traffic depending on how you configure your notification settings. So if you're, as mine does, if your district email box just runs right on the edge of being full all the time, that can be a problem because then you have to delete other emails or delete some of those emails from Canvas in order to keep your account from running over the 1 gigabyte limit that the district gives you. So some people will create a separate email address, either use a personal email address or even better, create a personal email address that they use only for communications with Canvas and through Canvas. You can make another Gmail account, another Yahoo account, an Outlook.com account. There, just a number of places where you can make free email accounts, and you can register that email account with Canvas, and you can use it to communicate with Canvas and with your students. You can use it to have Canvas communicate with you, and then you can also use that to communicate with your students through Canvas and not have all that end up in your district email address. And you can do that even if the district email address is your primary. By the way, that's what that star means there. I could make this other address my primary if I wished, but then Confer Zoom doesn't work. Mine doesn't work well anyway, but anyway, you can choose which of these addresses is primary. That doesn't mean a heck of a lot except for the Confer Zoom app, because you can control how Canvas communicates with you through each of these email addresses by editing your notification settings. We'll see how to do that in a few minutes.
Okay.
Question?
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead. Oh,
No, I'm sorry. I'm not talking.
Okay, no problem. To add, go ahead.
One of the assignments is to change your profile picture. Like originally I had a little cartoon figure of me, and I used it all throughout the semester so that when students are speaking, I don't want them looking at my reaction when I'm grading them when they're doing their speeches. So I would have the little cartoon picture, which was really cute.
That's up to you.
Yes. And then I noticed that when I would do these sessions with you, if I went on video mute, whatever, that cartoon would show up. But when I made the change for the assignment to a profile picture, now, so like shows up in the...
Well, but this profile picture only affects the one I'm talking about right now only affects Canvas, not
okay, but
Zoom.
now when I show up here, it's just my name. So is it possible to have I noticed you have two different profiles, but those are different accounts. So can I have two different ones, or?
Well, again, there's a profile image for Zoom and there's one for Canvas, and they're totally unconnected. They have nothing to do with one another. So yes, in your Zoom account, you can also upload a profile picture. And that's what, if you mute your video, if you turn your video off, normally that's what shows up to other people. And you can set that to be a picture of yourself, or as you say, a cartoon character or whatever. It doesn't matter. And that is true in Canvas as well, but they're totally separate, and one would not affect the other.
Okay, so I must have been using the Zoom the whole time, and that's why it disappeared. Like it's trying to get it back.
It's possible, yeah.
Okay.
If you want to add an email address, you've got a button to do that, add email address. And you can just put in another email address that you've created specifically to use with Canvas, for instance, and click register email. When you do that, Canvas will send you eventually, and sometimes it takes a while, Canvas will send you a message to that email inbox asking you to validate it, to demonstrate that in fact is your email address, and that there's a person there and it's not some web bot doing that. And then after a period of time, that email address will be usable here. And I'll show you how to tell Canvas what to do with that email address here in a minute. But the process of adding another email address is pretty simple. You can add more than two if you want, though then you may be getting a lot of email, but that works. You can also set up other contact channels, other contact methods for Canvas to send you information. You do that by clicking on Add Contact Method. And you have the option to add another email account or a text message. If you're going to have Canvas send you SMS or text messages, and again, this is just for you, these settings are individual. Like, you can't control this for your students. They control their own account settings and profiles and everything. Nothing you can do about it. You can only control your own. If you want Canvas to send you certain critical alerts by SMS, by text, you just put in your cell number and then identify your carrier. And the reason you have to identify your carrier is that each carrier has a what's called an SMS email, a text message email, such that if someone sends an email to that email address, it shows up as a text message on your phone. That they don't always publicize that, but that's a feature of every carrier. And if you select your carrier, like I use Verizon, then the SMS email is whatever your phone number is at vtext.com. And Canvas knows that and just automatically puts that in there. And I've already got that set up, so I'm not going to do that again. You could even set up multiple phone numbers if you needed to. But it would have to be some phone number that was capable of receiving a text message, which almost always means a cell phone, or maybe a voice over IP service that can receive text messaging as well, like Google Voice or something like that. Usually your cell phone, though. So that's how you would set that up if you wanted to do that. Also, there's a contact method called app notifications. That's what's meant by this for all devices link here. And that's not something you set up here in Canvas. That's something that is set up automatically when you load the Canvas teacher or student app on your smartphone or tablet, and then log into Canvas using that app. That then notifies Canvas that you are using one of the Canvas mobile apps, and you can have Canvas send you alerts via the app notifications, like the little news notifications that pop up on your smartphone. Canvas can send you those. And trust me, if you're not careful, Canvas can send enough of them to you that your phone is sitting there and chiming all the time until you go in and shut that down. And you do have control over how that happens and what you get notified of. But for particularly critical notifications, you may want either a text message or an in-app notification to come to your mobile device, and you can set that up. We'll see a little bit more about how this works when we get to our notifications here in a few minutes. A few more things here. You can't really change your logins, so that's just information for you. There are 4 web services that you can link with your Canvas account that can be useful in certain circumstances. Those are Google Drive, Skype, Twitter, and Delicious, which I've never used. I can't tell you much about that. Skype, of course, is just a poor person's Zoom. You don't have to worry about that. You've got Zoom. And Zoom works with Canvas in other ways. So, this is, but the one that might be fairly useful is Google Drive. And all you have to do to register any of these services with Canvas is just to click on it. over here. These are the services that are available for integration with your Canvas account that I have not done. You would probably see Google Drive over here as well, and you just click on that Google Drive, and you go through. It asks you for your Google login, and so on, and it integrates that with your account. And there are certain things you can do with Google Drive within your courses that you couldn't otherwise do. You also have some so-called approved integrations, maybe things that you have linked to your Canvas account deliberately or otherwise. Some of this happens automatically, and you don't have any control over it. You see the Google Drive we just talked about. This is the Canvas Teacher for iOS is also linked with my account here. So that happened automatically when I downloaded the app and logged into it. So you don't really have to do anything about this. It's just some information for you. There are also some settings that govern certain things about Canvas behaviors that you can set in your account settings here. You can have a high contrast user interface enabled, which if you have visual problems or have trouble seeing some of the Canvas screens, it's worth a try. It goes very dark blacks and light whites and limited color so that things are easier to see. If you're like I was about 3 years ago, I was putting off cataract surgery, that might be handy. I don't know if any of you have seen the celebration animations. If you've submitted an assignment in the training course, now you see a little confetti burst all over the screen, little fireworks and so on. You can turn that off in your account if you've seen enough of that. You can turn that off. You can set links in your Canvas pages to be underlined, and that's standard for hyperlinks in hypertext documents like web pages, for the links to be underlined, and that Canvas doesn't do that by default. In its Canvas pages, you can force Canvas to underline those for you so that it's easier to spot what's a link and what isn't. You can activate a nagging little course setup tutorial so that every time you go into a page, into a different section of your course, a little panel slides in from the right-hand edge and has some information about how that page in your course works. It can be useful just getting started. It gets pretty annoying pretty quickly, and you can turn it on and off here. We won't worry about byte order marks or spreadsheet exports. These three are kind of data compatibility settings that you probably won't need to worry about. But that's stuff you all have control over. You can also here edit some of these settings. You do that by going to this Edit Settings button over here. This is where you can put in your, you can change your sortable name if you like. And you can also set your pronouns. That's what this is. Or you can leave it at none. You can change your default email, but you can do that over here. Change languages, time zones, but the thing you're most likely to need to do is change your password. And this is where you change your Canvas password. In Account, Settings, Edit Settings, over here on the right. And if you check that box that says Change Password, you'll get 3 text boxes. you have to enter your old password in order to change your password. So if you forget your password, this won't work. Obviously, you wouldn't get to this point if you'd forgotten your password. But you can enter your old password and then your new password twice, and Canvas will take it. Canvas has minimum requirements for passwords. They have to be 8 characters. I believe they have to have both letters and numbers in them. I think that's the only restrictions we have set on that. No, we don't have that set because your passwords are all numeric, but they do have to be at least 8 characters. Within that limitation, you can make them anything. I'm sorry, that it's your birth date, your 8-digit birth date is your default. That is, of course, not a terribly secure password. All anybody has to do is look at your Facebook page or whatever, and probably they've got that. So it's not a bad idea to change that. Should you change it and forget it, there is a forgot password dialog on the login page. But before you forget your password, be sure you know which email address is set as your primary email address. Because Canvas is going to send, if you click on forgot password on the Canvas login screen, Canvas is going to send an email to that account and none other. So if that's the wrong email account, that's why we will sometimes have people tell us, well, I clicked on forgot password and it didn't do me any good. It never sent me anything. That's because Canvas thought your email address was something other than what you were using now. And that happens more with students than it does with faculty, but it can happen to anybody. So you just need to know that email address, that's one of the reasons you need to know what email addresses Canvas is using for you. I'm not going to change my password. If I had made a change, I would click Update Settings, and the change would be saved. I'm going to cancel out of that. So, Canvas settings. Most of that you never have to mess with. All right, let's go to notifications. Notifications are messages sent to you by Canvas, usually to your email address, but sometimes to your smartphone, either through the teacher app or through a text message that alerts you to certain events, certain occurrences in Canvas. You get to decide which events in Canvas are worthy of notification and how you want to be notified. And you set that up by going to your notification link in your account menu here. And this is a much busier screen. Yours probably won't be this busy. You may have like one column over here for one email address. But the column, each of these columns here represents a communication channel, a means by which Canvas can send you a notification. Typically, as I say, it's one or more email addresses, but you also have the so-called app or push notifications and text notifications to your cell phone. And that's what each of these columns represents. You'll have at least one column with your email address, with a single email address, but you may have more. The rows here represent events that might occur within Canvas that might be worthy of you being notified that they've occurred. You get to decide which events fit that category. And so do your students. You can't override student notification settings, nor any more than they could yours, or we can yours. Even an administrator can't go in really and override your notification settings. You get to decide what you get notified of, by what channel, and how often. And there are these events are categorized. They start with so-called course activities, a due date. And some of these events are more germane to students, and some to faculty, and some to both. Like if an assignment due date changes, a student might well want to know that right away. So Canvas, if they choose, Canvas will send them a message that, hey, a due date in your course just changed. Probably that's a little less important for you because hopefully you're the one who changed it. You know that it happened already. But, you know, you can set it for yourself too. You get to be my age, that might not be a bad idea to get a reminder that, hey, you just changed something in your course. Okay, so how do you govern whether or not you get a notification for that event? Well, you go across the row for that event and you see these little icons in your each of your channels. Your email, for your email addresses, your push notifications, your cell number. And there are, for email addresses, there are 4 little icons that you can choose. The first one is the check mark. And here's the legend for those up here at the top of the page. Check mark means let me know right away. That's critical. I need to know now that that happened. Or maybe it's something that you just like to know it happened, but you don't have to act on it immediately. And you can have Canvas send you a daily summary with all messages or all notifications for this event in one message. So if it's something that might happen multiple times a day, you'll just get one email that shows you each time that event occurred and when it occurred. Or if it's really not urgent, but you would kind of like to keep track of it, you can have Canvas send a weekly summary, a weekly digest of all of the notifications due to this event, the due date event in this case. Or I don't want to know about it. I'll find out about it other ways, or it's not something I care about. Don't send me a notification for that event. And that's the X. The daily summary is the little clock, and the weekly summary is the little calendar. So it's easy to remember those. Grading policies, you know, if a student wants to know about a change in grading policy, they can set this on course content. If content has been added to the course, like a new page or a new quiz or a new assignment, students might well want to know that. Again, for you, hopefully you know that because you're the one who did it. So these two are more appropriate for students. You can get a notification when a new file is added to the course. This is not an unusual one. This is one that I would like to see students add. If a new announcement is created in the course, Canvas, if you tell Canvas to send this notification, you'll get an email that says, hey, there's a new announcement been posted, and it will even send the textual part of the announcement in the message so that the student gets the announcement right away rather than the next time they log into Canvas. It would be nice if we could force them to set that one on. And in Blackboard, we used to have a way where we could check a box when we created an announcement, and it would override the student's notification preferences, and it would send them a message with the announcement in it, whether they had chosen to have that happen or not. But that's not available in Canvas. A student gets to determine whether they get notified when an announcement occurs. You might suggest to your students that they do that, and they might even listen to you. Some of them might even listen to you. And we do have a tutorial online specifically on notification settings and how to change them so that you can provide your students the information they need to do that. As you see, it's not terribly complicated. I don't know why you need this one. Grading. If you set a grading notification, of course, what that means is when you grade an assignment, the students will get a notification that you've done so. And if they check this box here, they'll also get the grade. But they get to choose whether that goes through on email, because email is, of course, generally unencrypted. It's fairly easy for hackers to intercept it. That's very private information. The student may or may not want a grade sent in an email, but they get to choose. I imagine that option to not have that happen was added because of FERPA. An invitation for a web conference or whatever that you can get a notification for. This is one that's only available to you as an instructor. You can get a message every time a student submits something. That can generate a lot of notifications. On the other hand, it gives you a running feel for how active the students are in your course. So that's, I would probably not set that one to on unless I had a separate email account that I use to communicate with Canvas. And everything went into that one account, then it wouldn't be so bad. You wouldn't get like 1 million submission messages, one for each student for each assignment probably in your district email box, for instance. But if you're using like a separate Gmail or Yahoo account, it might not be so bad. And it would give you a feel for how active students are being in your course. You can also have yourself be notified when students turn in something late. Or if there's been a submission comment posted. And we won't worry about Blueprint. We don't use Blueprint courses, so I'm not going to worry about that one. Discussions. You can, as a student, you can be notified if the instructor creates a new discussion. But the more useful one here is discussion post. You can have Canvas send you a message every time somebody posts in a particular discussion topic. That's probably not something you want to do in a very active topic where students are posting all the time. But it's especially useful for something like a question and answer discussion topic, which we recommend you put into your course, your Canvas course, where the student can post questions for you. You can say, well, gee, why don't I just have them email me when they have a question? And you can do that. But if you do that, email can come to run your life. If you have a lot of students and they have a lot of questions, and every one of them sends you an individual email, that can add up to a lot of email. It can totally inundate your email inbox. It can eat up your life. So it's not a great strategy. A better strategy often is to put a discussion topic into your course that's not graded, that's just there for communication purposes. And in the directions for the topic, you just say, when you have a question, post it here. That means, of course, that if it's a question that's not real personal, and by that I mean personal to the student, you wouldn't want the student to notify you that their grandmother died that way or something like that. or that they've just been diagnosed with some dread disease or something. Obviously, that's not something they want to share in a public forum like a discussion topic. But if it's a question about the course, sure, they can post it in that discussion, and then you can get a notification that somebody's posted to that topic, and you can go when it's convenient and go look at it and respond to it. And the real upside to that is that sometimes before you get to it, another student will answer the question. And often enough, they'll even answer it right, and you won't have to answer it. So it can save you a lot of time, and it also gets the students talking to one another, which is a goal, an accreditation requirement, indeed, in online courses now. So setting up a question and answer discussion is a real good idea. It can save you a lot of time. And of course, when one student posts that question, there are probably at least 10 others that hadn't thought of that yet, but who need that answer as well. And then you only have to post the answer once instead of answering 10 emails. So it can save you it's one of these productivity enhancements that can save you an awful lot of time. And this notification makes that work better because you don't have to go in and constantly check that question and answer topic, because there may be days or weeks go by when nobody posts to it. As long as you have a notification set, you'll know when they do, and you won't have to keep checking it. The conversations are Canvas's term for the inbox tool, the messaging tool. And the one that's really useful here is the conversation message notification. If you set this on, particularly if you set it to tell me right now, the check mark, whenever somebody sends you a message in Canvas, Canvas will then send you a notification via email, probably, letting you know that somebody sent you a message in Canvas. So you don't have to keep going into Canvas and checking your inbox. You can just check your regular email, and which you do anyway, and you'll see those messages, or your personal email, I should say. And you'll see those messages. So that, in effect, makes Canvas forward that message on. And indeed, Canvas forwards the text of the message that was sent to you in Canvas to your personal email account. It can't forward things like embedded videos or something like that, because the simple mail transport protocol that is used on the internet doesn't support that deliberately. But it can send you the text of the message, so that you may not even have to log into Canvas at all to reply to it, because the way Canvas's messaging tool works, if Canvas sends you that notification message that you just received a message in your Canvas inbox, you can reply to that message from your personal email box, and the reply will go back to the student's Canvas message box, inbox. And if they have this notification set, it'll go all the way back to their personal email. So you don't, when you get that message, you get that notification that somebody sent you a message in Canvas, you can just reply to it right there, and it'll go back to Canvas. And you don't have to go and log into Canvas and bring up the inbox tool and reply to it there. So that's something that I always have turned on. And you can encourage your students to turn that one on, so that your notifications, your messages to them will get all the way to their personal email box without them having to log into Canvas, so they may get it sooner, especially if it's something urgent. Like, you haven't turned in this assignment, it's due in 2 hours. They might need to know that right then. You can encourage them to set this to on. But you can't make them. So you might, I'd encourage them to have, at very least, have that one turned on for immediate notification, and the announcement. When they if they get an announcement, they know immediately. But you can't make them drink. And there are scheduling notifications for appointments set up in the calendar, sign-ups, cancellations, available time slots for sign-up. A lot of this has to do with student groups or the calendar. They can be notified immediately when new items are created or items are changed in the course calendar. That's not a bad one to have on either. Though that's something you might have just every now and then. Maybe a daily digest. Membership updates have to do with groups. Conferences, this doesn't refer to Zoom conferences. It refers to Canvas's built-in conferencing tool, which is called Big Blue Button, which, how shall I put it gently, sucks, and I wouldn't use. So I'm not even going to mention that one further. And these are for you that are useful. You won't have administrative notifications, but you can set a content link error on. What this means is if the student goes to a hyperlink that you put into your course, like linking out to something on the web, and they click on that and they don't get there, under certain circumstances, Canvas knows that, can tell that, and can notify you that that link's not working. So it saves you the embarrassment of having a student tell you that, hey, this link you put in there is misspelled or something is not working. Or more likely, somebody has taken down a resource that you were linking to, and you'd have no control over that, but it may just vanish one day, and the student, it's something that's an important part of your students' information that you're providing for them, and it's not there anymore. This can give you a heads up to that effect. I got one of those yesterday about the training course. Something happened in the training course that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, but presumably everybody got that. All the people who manage the course got that. Presumably they'll correct it, but it allows you to avoid that. Also, you can have yourself notified when global system announcements are sent in Canvas. That's something that only an administrator can do, but it's something that we will do in circumstances where it's usually some important event coming up that's going to impact your Canvas course, like your live shells for fall are going to be available in 2 days, on the 17th. And we sent out Chris Rogers sent out an announcement to that effect some time ago. That's the kind of thing you don't want to miss. So you can set an announcement so that you also get an email about that automatically. I think Chris sent out an email as well, but their global faculty distribution lists and Outlook aren't always fully up to date and so on. So this will ensure that anybody, if you turn that on, you'll get such notifications. Or, like we've just found out that Canvas has gone down and will be down for the next 3 hours or something like that. You want to know about that pretty quickly, because otherwise your personal email box may start filling up. If students have figured out what your email address is, they won't get it from Canvas, but they might know otherwise. It's not difficult to figure out what your district email address is. They know the rules for that naming as well. And and then of course the phone starts ringing off the hook everywhere in our offices and so on. So global announcements can be urgent and important, either or both. So you might want to know about them when they happen, and this will have Canvas notify you when they do. So all things that you might need to be notified of, you can choose how to be notified of them and how often by clicking these little icons here. Notice I don't have anything turned on. I tinkered with that one. I don't have anything turned on in my district email address. That's because I don't want to get Canvas notifications there because there's too much spam and whatnot in there already. I'm liable to miss it. And I have limited space in there. I don't want Canvas filling up my email inbox. And so I have that turned off. Even though I have that email address associated with Canvas, I have it for notifications, I have it turned off. I don't have any notifications going to that one. I instead use my personal Yahoo account for that. I should probably make a separate account with some other place that I use exclusively for Canvas. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I have unlimited space in my Yahoo account, unlimited storage space, so I can, if something shows up there, I don't have to worry about it deleting it right away and things like that. So that's where I receive notifications that I need. Push notifications and SMS or text message notifications are not as flexibly, they can't be configured as flexibly as email notifications can. They're either all on or off. Either you get a notification right now or you don't get one at all. Push notifications you don't pay for. I mean, they don't cost you anything, but they do, your phone is chiming all the time and so on if you have too many of them set. So you only want to pick the things that are important to you there, obviously. And that's especially true with SMS notifications because if you don't have an unlimited texting account, each text message that you receive can cost you up to $0.25 or so. So depending on your phone plan. So you want to be, if you have an unlimited text account, it's not a financial worry, but again, it can, your phone is going off all the time. And if it's not that urgent, you don't want that to happen. I only have announcements turned on. And notice some of these events you can't even set up for text message. Indeed, the only ones that you can really do are grading and announcements. You can't even set up a conversation message to be received by text. So it's really only those two events that can trigger a text message. And those are, of course, two of the most important and most time critical. So you can have that happen. And your students can control that. You don't have to worry about your students getting bombarded with text messages because you grade something. They have to choose to have that happen. So notifications are pretty straightforward. There's a lot of them, a lot of decisions to make. And some of these things are set on by default when new accounts are created, like the announcement and the messaging or conversation message notifications are set to immediate when a new account is created by default. So it's a pretty good chance that your students are receiving messages that you send in Canvas. It's likely they are receiving them in their personal email as well. But you can't depend on it because they can turn that off and you can't stop them. We can't stop them. All right. We don't use e-portfolios. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's see, what did I figure on? Yeah, let's look at the file. You have a file link in your account menus as well. Let's see what happens when we go there. Takes a second to pull everything up. This is how you can access the file manager in each of your courses without actually going into the course, finding the course on the dashboard and clicking into it. You can access all of the file storage in all of your courses from this list right here, just by clicking on the name of the course, and you'll see what files you have stored in that course. And you can upload files to your course from right here if you wish. You can add folders to organize your files. Don't mistake this with modules and so on. This is just folders within your file manager. And you can mark favorites in the Canvas Commons as well here. Not only can you see which files you have loaded, you can view the files by just clicking on them. You can, for each file, on the detail line for each file, you can do things like download that file. Let's say you've uploaded a file to Canvas and you have it stored in one of your courses and you lose track of it. On your home computer, you accidentally delete it or whatever. Ask me how I know this. You can download the file from Canvas again and have a local copy of it. You can rename the file, though that's usually not that important. You can move it from one folder to another. You can delete it. Let's say you've put a huge PowerPoint file in your course and your students have finished with it and you're running out of space in your file storage, you want to get rid of it, you can just delete that file from your file manager, which will take it right out of your course and free up some space. An important corollary to that is that, if you have a file linked into a module and there's a link in a module that the students can click on to get to that file, if you remove that link from the module, you don't remove the file from your course. It's still in your file manager. It's still sitting there taking up space. So if you need to get rid of some gigantic file that you no longer need, you got to go either to the files link in your course or go to the files link in your account menu and then navigate to the file manager for the course and delete that file from there before you free up the file space. And you can also share that file to the Canvas Commons from here. So you can see all of your file managers, all of the files and all of your courses by just going through here. This is also how, and the only way I know, you access your personal file space on Canvas, so-called My Files. You have a certain amount of file space. I forget how much it is. I think it's a gigabyte of personal file space. And these are files that are not associated with any particular course. They're just things you have on the system that you can use. And this is where you access them in My Files. The students also have a file space like that they can use, where they can put a file, where they can reach it. Like if you put a file in My Files.
Where are you?
Hello. Oh. Hopefully we know where we are.
Yeah. Okay.
You can access these files anywhere. So you can put a file up here and say you travel to a conference or in the uncertain future, or you're going on vacation or whatever, and you're still teaching your online course and you need that file and you don't have it on the computer you've taken with you or on the mobile device. You can use this as a file storage repository, a file server as it were, and you can then download that file to your local computer and use it. So that's just a personal file space that you get to use on Canvas. And that just about covers everything. This is a new one I haven't seen before. Let's look at this. The QR code. The QR codes are those little square codes with little smaller squares and patterns like a mosaic pattern inside that are used primarily with smartphones to take you places. You use your smartphone camera to just scan that QR code and it takes you to a web page somewhere. You often see them on product boxes and things like that. And might be a link to the manual for the product or something, or information about the product. And apparently there is a QR code for mobile login. Let's see, can give others immediate access to your account through the Canvas mobile apps. You want to make sure that nobody can see this. Click proceed to continue. Click cancel if you don't want the code to, okay, fine. All right, so that's a QR code that I could carry with me or paste up on the wall or whatever, and just point my cell phone camera at it, and bam, then if you have the Canvas student or teacher app loaded on your phone, you go right to it.
So we could get into yours right now, huh?
You could if you took a screenshot of that real quick. So apparently my password is encoded in that and so on. Right, let's see. Shared content, that's also a new one. And I've got nobody's shared content with me. That is something new that I have not seen before. I'll have to look that up. I don't think it's a critical item at this point. But Canvas is adding new little bells and whistles all the time, and that's an interesting one, but not critical to operation. So that, and e-portfolios we generally don't use, but it's the idea is that it's a student can create a portfolio of the work that they've turned in various courses and keep them in one place. And then they can share that with someone like a colleague or a friend or a potential employer. So, well, this is an example of my work. And they can control whether they're public or private and things like that. So I don't have an e-portfolio. And it's not something we use or support officially, but it's there and it's something you can use. And your students can as well. It's a fairly limited e-portfolio tool. If that's something you're interested in, there are better ones out there. Okay, so that's about all I had in mind to cover today about notifications and settings. So let me ask first if you have any other questions about notifications and settings. We'll get those out of the way first. Randy, was yours? You were there first.
Yes, sir. You went over something a bit ago. You went over something a bit ago and you kind of passed over it. What is Blueprint Sync?
Don't worry about Blueprint Sync. We don't use Blueprint courses. A Blueprint course, just real quick, is a course in Canvas that is serves as a blueprint, a template for other courses. And we can set it up so that, say you have a English 101 course. You have 4 sections of it in a semester. You have a blueprint course, and then the live shells are just echoes of that blueprint course. So if you change content in the blueprint course, the content is changed in all the sections. Okay. But it's not something we use. We use something called cross-listing, where all the students, you can arrange it so that if you have multiple Canvas shells for multiple sections of the same course in one semester, you can have one of those course shells serve for everybody. And you can give everyone, all of your students, access to that one shell. And then you only have to manage one shell and manage communication in one shell. It's a convenience for the instructor. It's not so great for the students because the discussion forums can get unwieldy. Those of you who have just been through the training course, particularly the last year's training course, will have some perspective on that. Remember how big those discussion boards got? There were hundreds, thousands of messages in some of them. There's no way you could read through them all.
And that was one of my questions, because I'm getting daily remarks, daily messages from, because I just have my notifications, whatever they set. And that's what
well, now you know how to prevent that from happening. But discussion forums, if you've got more than 20 or 30 people participating in a discussion forum, it gets pretty unwieldy. So we used to not cross-list online courses. We'd let faculty who were teaching on campus courses, who were using the LMS as a supplement, cross-list their section, so they only had one shell per course per semester to worry about. But we didn't allow that in online courses because of the impact on the discussion forums. But that has been rethought under new management, and you can now do that if you wish to. If you want to cross-list, if you have multiple sections of the same course in a semester, you can call the Canvas faculty support number, and they will merge the enrollments for you, so that you only have to deal with one shell. And Ardith, you had yes, go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, well, that was the problem, because when you were talking about the getting so many messages, I understand, and I did write it in the chat box, but maybe I can explain better. It's one thing if someone is responding to my post, but if I posted something to someone else and then they're not responding to me, they're responding to that person's original post, I'm getting those messages too.
Exactly. You get a notification every time anyone posts in that discussion forum. So you may want to you don't want that notification set on in an active discussion forum. It will just inundate you in emails. So that one you want to turn off.
Okay, so turn that one off.
Just turn it off.
All right.
It's all or nothing. You can't say only show me these. No, it's all or nothing. So
okay, so there's no way to say
turn it off.
I just want it when you respond to me. I don't care if they respond to
of course
the person.
Of course. So definitely, yeah. Unfortunately, those notifications are system wide. All your courses are affected the same way. You can't say just don't send me notifications from that course. It's all, again, it affects all courses or none.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and my second one was I tried printing it out and it doesn't allow color. And I do have a color printer because when I did it I don't know if you can see this. I was trying to find a way to give it to you beforehand to kind of help me get an idea. You can see there's color if I take a snippet, like a snipping tool, and I do
a screenshot.
A screenshot, yes, of each one. But when you print directly from there, it doesn't do color. So now I have to go through each one.
I've never seen that. That's interesting.
Okay.
I don't know why. But
I was going to ask you a question on
yes,
whether I should change my notifications to having students, from being the student to having students. So I would want it different if I wasn't the student, right?
Right. Yeah. You would typically pick different notifications as a student.
Right. So should I do it now or should I wait until I finish?
Or you can do it anytime.
Okay.
Of course, you are a student I would probably leave some of those student-centered notifications active as long as you're in the training course. And
All
then when
right,
you
got
finish
it.
that, I'd probably turn them off.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Good question.
Dave, can I ask a
Oscar,
question?
please.
I just finished the online certification program. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And I'm still getting, for some reason, I'm getting notifications of other people posts in their own
Yes.
training.
You are. That's what Kathy was talking about. Yeah.
I see. Is it something that I have mismanaged or somebody
No,
else?
no, it's just it's your notification settings.
I see.
You may want to go in and see what those notifications are telling you about, and go in and change and turn off some of the notifications, or at the very least set them to maybe a weekly summary, so that you're not getting a message every time somebody posts to a discussion forum that you're not participating in anymore.
So even though I'm not a student in that course anymore, I'm still getting the notifications.
Well, you are still a student. You're still a student in there. You're just not actively participating in it right now.
I see. Okay.
And Oscar, when you
Yes.
get them, because it's like they'll give you like the first page summary, and that's what I was saying, that it's one thing if someone's responding to my original post, but there's a, you know, where you had to respond to, you had to make a reply to someone's original post.
Yes.
All right, so because it's so long and 1,000 people in there, I thought if you just click that, you would see it immediately. No, you might have to go several pages. Like my post might be on page 19, but someone is responding to the person I originally responded to on page 15, and it doesn't show up automatically if you want to read it.
No, I understand how that works. It's just that I thought that once having completed it, all those notifications would immediately stop, and they don't.
No, people are still responding, redoing their work.
You need to shut them off. Yeah.
Okay.
And when you go inactive, when they end the course, they'll set everybody to an inactive status. Those will stop. But we're trying to give you ongoing access to that course, so that you can go in and look things up that you might have questions about as you start working on your own courses. So it can't just shut you off in that course. So the best way to defend yourself is to shut off notifications or change their frequency so that you're not being inundated with messages that you don't really care about anymore.
Will do. Thank you.
You bet. Good question. Anybody else? Anything else about notifications and settings? Okay, anything else about anything? Yes, April, I saw April's hand go up, and I'll get you next.
Out of respect for my colleagues, my question is kind of long, so if someone else would like to go before me with a short question, please do. Mine is about 5.7, and I have about 6 questions about it, and I don't want to hog all the time.
The 5.7 assignment in the training.
Yeah, but because it's a long question, I would like someone else to get their question in first.
I suspect a lot of people might have similar questions, but we had another. Let's see if this other question was a short one. Go ahead.
I've got a quick question.
Great.
Under settings,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a section for login information. It goes from my settings and it jumps to a section that says web services.
Right.
And I don't have anything that says login information. Why is that?
Yeah, come to think of it, that's probably, I probably see that because I'm an administrator. Let me, that's a good question. Let me log out and log in with a faculty level account that doesn't have any administrative privileges and look at that, and we'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
That's normal. That's normal.
Okay. Thanks.
You bet. Thank you. Good question. Okay. So Kathy, do you have a quick one?
Well, I don't know if it's a structural one, but one of the things I liked about Blackboard is that when I clicked on a particular section, I knew only the students from that section can contact me. But by doing this, I think it's called global, whatever, inbox on the side, where I
Right.
have students contact me. Is there any way I can structure it so that I know it's only that group? Because I kind of got confused once between a student whose last name was Nicholas and a student whose first name was Nicholas. I think I might have mentioned it before. Is like you were talking about how you can is there any way to isolate that? I mean, yeah, they give me the CRN, but I don't always remember the CRN to numbers.
Well, no, you can pick which, if you just want messages from students in one course displayed in your inbox, you can select that in your inbox tool. It's the first menu in the upper left. The default is to show messages from all of your courses, but you
Right.
can select a particular course.
But then I have to go through each one. It doesn't tell me immediately that one. So I have to go the class 3445, 3442 for each one to see who the student is.
That's correct. To see, well, you can see messages just from a particular course. I'm trying to find a course here that has some, that I have some messages from. Let's see, campus, there we go. Yeah, those are messages I got from the 2019-2020 training course, and only from that course.
Okay, well, maybe I'm not asking it right. Okay, so let's say you get a message, you see there's 4 messages, you have 119 there, so that's even harder. All right, let's say you have 119 messages, but when you're going to Cindy's message, you don't know automatically she's from the 2019 class. And maybe some of those other people, so you have to look for, you have to start by, instead of
I believe in the subject line, if you have a message coming from, if a message gets to your personal inbox, in the subject line, the course from which that message came will be identified.
Okay, so I have to remember the numbers all the time.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
You put in a folder, or I thought I heard you say something about putting something in folder, like you can put files in folders. Can you
You can put files in folders. Yes, you can create inbox folders as well.
Yes.
And let me see, go to inbox and pull up a message. Let's see, or can you? Wait a minute. Recipients. No, the only folders you have are the default created ones.
So archive can't be like separate folders?
No, everything is in one archive.
Oh. Yeah, I thought I heard you say something
No,
about
you don't have that. You don't have that flexibility.
Okay, that's what I was hoping, that you could create folders and then only the students from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 appear in there, and only the students from 5, 5, 4 appear in another folder. And that way,
you can only limit it by course.
Okay, but then that means I have to
Only
go through
have messages from a particular course displayed.
and then take notes that the student is from that CRN number, because that's confusing. All right, thank you.
You bet. Okay, April, we've delayed that long enough. Let's go look at the training course.
It's 5.7, add an announcement.
Assignment 5.7. All right.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up.
There are some inconsistencies that gave me heart palpitations last night, so I have not proceeded.
Oh, I hope it won't be necessary for that. Oh yeah, I have to be logged in as me, not as my test teacher.
And I wrote everything down word for word. I also sent you an email late at night. I'm sure you have not had the chance to look at it. So at least.
Sorry, I haven't had a chance to go through my email from last night yet, but let's get to that course and we'll deal with it. And everybody else will get to see the answer as well. Okay, there we go to the current course. We'll go to the modules to assignment 5.7 or activity 5.7, which happens to be, I think, a homework assignment, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Here we go.
Okay, add an announcement.
Okay, here are my questions. In the general directions for the assignment, it says that I am
Right
to
here.
announcement for a specific course. To me, that means like Spanish 101. Yet when I get to the video in the directions, and I watched this video about 10 times and copied down the directions word for word, the post that's actually made in the content rich box doesn't really look like a specific class. But here's my issue. Below the box with the message is an area called post, marked all sections X in the instructional video. And
Yes.
Chris Rogers doesn't mention that post. He goes over it. Well, he also recommended before we do this assignment to look at 2 other resources, one of which was a video that indicated that when you get to that post, you select a course. Now, when I went back to Chris Rogers' video, I noticed he didn't discuss that. So I started to do it for real. And I discovered when I clicked on the caret that I had only 2 choices, the default of all sections X or the practice shell.
Okay. The confusion is arising here in the term section. Canvas, how Canvas uses it versus how the San Diego Community College District uses it. The SDCCD, when the SDCCD uses the word section, they're talking about a section of a particular course in that semester. And you may have several sections of, say, English 101 or whatever that you're teaching. The term section in Canvas means something else. You can create virtual sections within a course shell, and you can subdivide your students into those sections, and you can handle them separately. Let's say you had some honors students in that shell. You could put some of them in an honors section and others in the rest. But these are not sections in PeopleSoft. These are just things that you have created. We don't use that, the sections capability in Canvas. That is, each course section in PeopleSoft gets its own separate Canvas shell, its separate Canvas container. So anytime you see that all sections notation and can't, just ignore it.
Just ignore it, leave it the way it is. Now, when
Leave
I
it the way
titled,
it is.
okay, that answers the first question. When I titled my announcement, I titled it due date reminder for first exam or Spanish 101 Monday, Wednesday class. Is it okay to be that specific? Because that would be and then I reminded them of the due date and wished them luck. So I can do that.
Of course.
The
You
next
can put
question.
anything that you want to in an assignment.
Okay. The next question I have is, then Chris Rogers starts talking about the options sections, and he goes down the boxes. This is in the video, and the first one to be checked. And then he says there's a box that says allow users to comment. And he says, click on the box, allow users to comment if we want our users to comment. It's the word if that confuses me. Does it mean that I have a choice when I get to that section?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
These are the options you're talking about here.
Yes, here we go.
These are universally true for any announcement.
Okay.
You have the option to delay the posting so that it doesn't show up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want it to show up first thing in the morning and you don't want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and post the announcement, you can create the announcement early and have it show up to the students at a later time.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm talking about though.
But this is up to you. You to complete that assignment, you can select any or none of these options. That's not what you're going to be graded on. You're just going to be graded on whether you created an assignment or not.
Okay. No, I'm going to. So is it okay then if I choose to X that, to click that, to put a check mark in that box, allow users to comment?
That's fine. That's fine.
They're not going to care.
They're not. The graders are not going to care. Your students may care. I don't know. My feeling on this has always been that these announcements are not Facebook. You know, this ain't Facebook. I don't want, if I put an announcement out, I don't want comments on it. I just want people to read it and comply with it. I don't, like, there's a test today. Oh, do we have to have a test today? No, I don't want that. I just want, there's the information. Do what you will with it. But that's
Well,
up
just-
to you. And that doesn't
might-
affect your grade at all.
For this particular, so I could just leave them all unchecked and
You
proceed.
can leave them all unchecked. And
Okay,
would be perfectly happy.
the next question.
He
For
was
real,
just
April?
introducing the concept of those options
All
to
right.
you, not suggesting that you use any of them.
Well,
Okay.
By the way, if you do include that, like you won't be graded because I didn't include it when I was graded and I got full points. But if you do
Yes.
make an announcement for in your when you have your real class the
Right.
next semester, and if you click that a lot, because I didn't realize I accidentally allowed comments, and I was wondering why students were and then I had to tell students that, by the way, other students can read what you're commenting on.
That's right. It becomes a discussion forum instead of an announcement. If I want that sort of thing, I'll make a discussion forum.
Yes.
okay, well,
Okay.
then I'm just going to leave it blank. Okay, the
That's
next,
probably the best policy.
okay. The directions for viewing the announcement on the home page request me to click on the number of announcements shown on the home page. In the directions, Rogers has selected 3. Is that what we're supposed to select, or does it matter? 3
It's
to me.
entirely up to you.
Okay, so that won't affect the grading either. And then
No.
I noticed in that section when you scroll down that there were 3 boxes that were checked. Let students attach files to discussions. Let students create discussion topics. Let students edit or delete their own posts. Are these supposed to be direct?
That refers to discussions, not to announcements.
So I don't need to check that for this
No,
graded.
no, that has nothing to do with this particular one. Trying to
Okay.
remember where the options are. Here you go. Here,
Yeah, that's
to
what I'm
set
talking
the
about.
number of announcements that the students see on the home page when they enter the course, you go to Settings
Yeah,
and
very
the
clearly.
Course
explained.
Details tab, scroll down to the
Mhm.
bottom of the Course Details tab and click More Options.
Right,
You know you're always in trouble when you have to ask for more.
that's right.
And the second, usually the second option is, well, you have 2 options actually. You have an option to show recent announcements on your homepage.
Now,
You can
there,
turn that off and not have
Okay.
those shown, and if you check to show announcements, you can choose the number of announcements.
right, that's very
The most
clear. I just
recent.
wondered if there were a number.
Okay.
And does the one above
No.
it have to be checked too for this assignment?
Yeah, if you want to show recent announcements, you have to check that.
But for the assignment, for 5 points?
I don't think that was even mentioned in the instructions for the
No,
assignment.
that's why I'm so
In
confused.
that event, no, you don't have to do that. Again, he
Okay.
was just showing you that so you would know it was possible to do that. Because
right,
those
and then-
videos are not just for terms of completing the assignment, they're meant to give you information about how the tool that you're using in Canvas works.
Okay, and then
So you don't have to worry about it. If you have just created an assignment and sent it, you're done. That assignment, that particular activity should take, maybe, the idea was that it would take 2 minutes to make an assignment.
well, it's taking me
An
2 days.
announcement, I keep mixing my A words. You should just create an announcement of your choice and post it in
Right.
your practice course.
So in other words, don't worry about the boxes. My last one,
Don't
finally,
worry about the boxes.
can I ask the last box though? The directions
course.
to check the box, disable comments on announcements if you don't want students to comment. And once again, I'm asking, do we have a choice? And so I'm thinking leave it blank because this is just an assignment for 5.7.
Right.
It's for my actual class.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I
He's
think
just saying you can do that if you want, but that's not part of the assignment. The assignment is period.
Title
Here.
announcement, give the announcement, check on the home page that it's visible, copy the URL and post it. So
Period.
edit. Yeah.
That's all you have. All you have to do is what oops, I got the wrong one. Shoot.
That's okay.
5.7.
7. So don't worry about the boxes.
No. All you have to do is these 3 statements right here. If it ain't in there, you don't have to do it.
Okay. And for
Everything
the-
else is just extra information. Everything else in the video is just extra information that might be useful at some point in time. But
Okay.
that's all that you have to do. That's what's in
All
those
right.
instructions.
And that URL is going to be shown when I'm doing this at the time, just
It
like,
will be right here up at the top.
okay, that's like it was for 5.6. Okay.
Exactly the same. And you
Thank
just
you so
submit that
much.
URL. The reason we do it that way is that when that's submitted to us and we go into the speed grader, we see that link. And all we have to do is click on the link in the speed grader and it takes us right to your practice course and to that place in your practice course, and we can grade it instantly rather than having to go and find your practice course and put ourselves into your practice course and log into it and then go and find where you've done that in there. That URL takes us right to the spot where we need to grade it, and we can grade it in a moment, and you'll get the feedback much quicker that way.
Okay. Thank you so much.
That's why we do those things that way. All righty, so chances are very good that you're just done with that one.
I hope so.
As
This is
long
scary.
as you submitted the URL. You know, the key is submitting the URL.
Okay.
All right. Make sure your most recent announcements appear on the home page as one of the instructions. So you need to set that on, but the number you choose is up to you. The default is 3. Because you put too many, they have to scroll down to see the home page. But too few, they don't get enough information. So you decide where the sweet spot is on that. Okay. Good. And I'll be happy to go through any of the assignments in the training course that way if you have questions about them.
Okay.
Especially if you're struck. Hey, Lena.
Hi. I was just wondering if you can show me kind of quick about putting a video and how do I know if it has closed captions? Like how do I know, or
how do you know if a video you find out on the internet has closed captions or not?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to YouTube just for starters, since that's where you're most likely to find video. And the first answer is about captions is that almost anything that's on YouTube is going to be captioned. YouTube captions 99% plus of all videos that are uploaded to it. To discover whether something is captioned or not, you find something here.
Try Vimeo.
Yeah, well, we'll look at Vimeo in a minute. But
you see that snake again?
Here is what you are looking for. This little CC symbol. It will be somewhere in the player interface. On YouTube, it'll be right down here. It may be other places and like in Vimeo and things like that, though I think in Vimeo it's in about the same place. But it may be anywhere in the playback interface. But if you see that, then that should mean that that's a universal closed captioning symbol. So it should be captioned. And you turn the captions on by clicking on that symbol. These are auto-generated captions. They've never been edited. In case you wondered when we were grading assignment 2.7, how we knew whether you'd edited the captions or not. If we click on the CC symbol and we see the words auto-generated in the caption notification, then they haven't been edited at all. But anyway, that's how you turn them on, and that's how you know if it's edited or not. We can go to Vimeo, which is a little well, it's not a free site for one thing. It's a little bit less crazy, and it's the videos tend to be a little bit higher quality, but you can't really be assured of that.
You have it in the commons, or what do you call it, where you have all the different videos?
Yeah. Let me see. I don't want to join. Gosh, you can't even get to it. Oh, geez, you have to create an account even to see a video now. That's new.
But there's one where you have it on the on-demand that you talk about, and it has Vimeo and YouTube. It has all the different videos listed there.
Yeah, let's try that one. Let's go back to and see if I can get to it without having to go through all that. I suspect I may not be able to. There we go. There's our open educational resources that we went through on Monday. And we'll go to the video, and let's try this link. Nope, takes me to the same place now. That's what I thought. You can't even get, if you have a link to a video that's on Vimeo, which I don't happen to have right now, you would be able to go straight to the video. And I don't want to take time to create an account right now. Well, let's pick something else. Let's go to like TED videos. Again, all of these will be captioned as well, but if you go to a particular TED video, you'll see, this is one that it must have just been posted because they haven't captioned it yet. So those are not yet available. The CC symbol would normally be here. Let's pick something that's been on TED a little longer. And there's the symbol that TED uses, which is not standard, which is unfortunate. So you just have to look for it in the interface. And you can select subtitles in different languages. And now, interesting.
I'd like to try something new. Those of you who are able, please stand up.
And there are your...
okay, so I'm going to name some names. When you hear a name that you don't recognize, you can't tell me anything about...
They're using something different, which is unwise, I would say, but they didn't ask me. Let's see, National Geographic. I don't want the subscription site. How about here? Let's see. Let's find their videos. Videos, there we go. There's some. Click one of the videos. Share. Whoa. I don't really want to do that right now. They're scraping content. Okay. Well, this one apparently has no sound. Oh, it has no speech. So there are no captions. So that wasn't a good one to pick.
I have a question about that. I've been finding art videos that they don't have any captions, but they don't have anybody speaking in them either. So
well, if there's no speech, there's no captions. No captions required.
Okay. Thanks.
So you don't have to worry about that. Let's see. They're not even gonna let me get to it. Heck with that. We could try Khan Academy, but those are all YouTube videos. Most of these are on YouTube anyway. Learners. I don't really want to join. I just like to view. Search. Algebra 1. All right, we finally got down to a video. And notice this interface looks familiar. This is YouTube. They're all stored on YouTube. But there's your closed caption symbol. So to turn the captions on and off, you just hit that symbol. So you should be able to find a symbol somewhere in the player interface that indicates whether or not there are captions. And that symbol should give you the option to turn the captions on and off. Okay?
I've had to change the language on the captions.
You can change the language on the caption. You would have, actually, what you can do is have the captions translated. It's not exactly the same thing. It does work. And yes, there are something like 40-some languages you can have the captions translated, or your students can have them translated into. So that's another advantage to putting your videos up on YouTube rather than, say, the Zoom Cloud, because the Zoom Cloud is captioned in English. And there's one soundtrack. It's an English soundtrack. Well, the soundtrack is whatever you recorded. So if you spoke Arabic, then the soundtrack will be in Arabic. But the captions won't be, it won't caption the Arabic. The students will hear Arabic, but they won't see captions in Arabic. With YouTube, no matter what language you record the video in, you will get a caption track that is created in the language that you have set as the default language for that video. But your students, in viewing the video, can select to translate those captions into any one of 40-some languages. It's a machine translation. It's not idiomatic. It's not perfect. But I have had many people tell me it's surprisingly good. It's generally much better than not having captions in your own language. And that's a huge boon, of course, for students who are English as a second language students. They can get captions in their native language. Again, they may not be perfect, but they'll certainly be helpful. And that's something that YouTube does exceptionally well that other video sites do not. So, okay, did that answer your question, Ardith?
Yes.
Somewhere in there.
So if I did it in Spanish, they could translate it into English, right?
They could. They could.
All right, that's good. Thanks.
Might be fun to try that and see how it works.
Yeah, really.
See how good it is. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
I signed up in Canvas, but I missed the 2-3 classes. So still.
I'm sorry. You need which?
I missed the classes. I signed up with the Canvas, but I could make it, a couple classes. So still I can.
Oh, as to some of these Zoom sessions?
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. you can go to, and I am a little behind on this. This is going to be a little embarrassing, but you can go to sdccdolvid.org. Let me put that in the chat tool. I got that here somewhere. On-demand video site. Whoops. I'm not quite sure what I did there. Excuse me. I hit something on the keyboard I didn't mean to. Well, I guess I didn't have what I thought I did on the clipboard. Not unusual. That's more like it. Wait a minute. My clipboard is not cooperating. Ignore that last message. I could swear I copied that to my clipboard. Windows, don't mess with me. That's more like it. Okay, I just finally got it in the chat tool, sorry. SDCCDOLVID.org is San Diego Community College District online video site. Press enter. Okay. And you come to this site, which has a lot of video tutorials on Canvas, Zoom, lots of other instructional technology topics. But in the top bar here, this menu bar, there's a workshop archives link.
I see.
If you click that, it will take you to our list of Zoom recordings. And I'm a little bit behind putting those up. I need to get that done. Sorry. But you'll find that every time we do one of these Zoom meetings, we put the recording up here eventually. Oh, okay. And we do these sessions multiple times because we realize not everybody can make it to a particular one. So I've done, for instance, grading in Canvas half a dozen times over the last 6 months. If you just keep scrolling down, you'll find the topic you're interested in. You'll find a recorded session for that. Okay. If you don't find it on the first page, you can go to the next page. There are 8 pages of recordings.
Okay.
Okay, so you can get any of those recordings that you want to watch. You can, in playing them back, you can, this is a very common ask here, adding video to your Canvas course. They're YouTube, they're stored on YouTube. Oh. So you can just take the little scrubber in YouTube and you can just go fast forward through it. You can sort of see what's going on back there. And you just keep looking until you find what you're interested in, like this site. But then using that on, and you can start playing at that point. And you can back up and play things again, things like that, the usual stuff. And they're all captioned. So,
okay, thank you.
You bet. I answered the question you asked. This is the main thing I'm worried about. Yeah,
I
good.
took the once test, and then
I'm sorry.
How many tests do you have? How many times I have to take that test?
Oh, in the training course?
Yeah.
I believe they have them all set to unlimited now.
Oh.
You can take those tests as many times as you like, and you will be awarded the highest grade that you make.
Oh, I see. I took it just once.
No, you can take them. Every one I've seen so far that I've looked at has been set to unlimited attempts, which means you can take it as many times as you like, and Canvas will automatically award you the highest score you achieve.
I see. Thank you.
You bet. And the assignments, you can submit as many times as you like.
Oh,
If you're
okay.
not sure you got it right, you can submit it again and try to improve. And
How
again,
can
you'll get the
I,
best
how can I-
score.
Then
We'll give
how
you the
can I
best score
prove
you.
that?
I'm sorry?
How can I prove that to submit it?
Oh, if it's submitted, we'll see it in the grade book. You don't have to
Oh,
prove anything.
okay.
We automatically see a little symbol in the grade book that tells us that you have submitted. And you know that Canvas received your submission, because when you submit something, you see a little in the upper right-hand corner of the Canvas screen, you see a receipt that says submitted with a big check mark.
I see.
So you know that it's gone through. And we have never had Canvas lose a submission that it said it got, ever. So you don't have to worry about
Right.
that.
Thank you.
You're certainly welcome. Anybody else? Anything else?
Hey, this is Lena again. I was just
Hi,
wondering,
Lena.
hi. I was just wondering if we're gonna get like a list from the people that send out when our meetings are, like a list of new topics that are coming up, or do you know?
Yeah, the Mary Kingsley sends out a list for this week and next week, usually on Monday, almost always on Monday. And it looks something like, let me find my Outlook here. Whoop. What did I do? Sorry, I just blitzed my email somehow there. Okay, let me find Mary's message for this week. Okay, here's the message she sent out this week that had the current week and next week. And here we are today in notifications and settings. If you're not receiving those, let me know and I'll let Mary know to add you to the distribution list. It's supposed to be sending to all faculty at the district. We're using the distribution lists provided by information technology to send those out. But if you're not getting them, there have been instances where people have been left off those distribution lists inadvertently. So if you're not getting these emails, let me know and we'll make sure you do.
I've been getting them. I'm just wondering if they know ahead of time, like new topics for the coming weeks. If they just...
Well, like I say, you do get this week and next week, but there is a calendar. It is somewhat open to modification because we're sort of making this up as we go along, but we do have a tentative schedule that runs through December of this year.
Okay.
And that, let's see. If I go to, this is the calendar, it's a Google Calendar. So as a result, it can be accessed if you have the link to it. And I'm trying to remember where that link is. Let me see. Settings and sharing. There we go. Public URL. There it is. Come on, where'd you go, chat? There we go. This is professional Development calendar. These are my Zoom meetings. And there's the link. I just put that in the chat tool if you want to copy that, or just click on it, click on it in the chat tool, go to the calendar, and then bookmark it. You can always get in and look at that. It is anything beyond about a week out is subject to modification, but we haven't done much modification yet. Generally, the only thing that's happening is that we're adding new ones from time to time. So there might be one we're offering that's not on there, but you will get the email warning you of that. But this will give you an idea of what's coming up in the next 6 months or so.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Hey, Donna. Good.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. I signed up for the certificate program, and
Right.
I haven't gotten started because of some extenuating things that happened prior to. So I'm now trying to figure out where do I start and how do I get started?
Okay.
And what's the best way?
Have you filled out the request to be enrolled?
Yes,
Some
I
time
did.
ago. Okay, so everything should be set up.
Yes.
Okay, so you should find on your dashboard this tile right here. It'll say Online Faculty Certification Program.
Yes, I have that.
You have that one. Good. That's your training course. That's the course where you're a student. That's where all of the information and the videos and everything are linked. But you'll also, once you get to about module 5 in the course, section 5 in the course, you'll also need what's called a practice course, where you are the instructor. It's just a blank course shell, where you're the instructor, because we ask you to do things that you can't do in the training course shell because you're not the teacher. So we give you a shell where you are the teacher to do things in, like that assignment that April asked about earlier, the posting an announcement. You can't post an announcement in the training course because you're a student, but you would be able to post an announcement in your practice course. And your practice course will be named D-shell dash and then your first initial and last name. So that's how you can identify it on your dashboard, and you should find it on your dashboard somewhere. It won't be published, so look in the unpublished courses down at the bottom of your dashboard, but it should be in there somewhere. And that's your practice course.
Yes.
But you won't need that practice course for a while. So you just go into the training course and you read the announcements. Actually, you'll see any announcements that have been posted recently right at the top of the page. But you can go here and see all the announcements in the course, if any.
Okay.
Then there's a welcome letter. You click on that. It's pretty quick. That's all there is to it. Then if I go back to the home page, there's a syllabus, which is more detailed, which has more information about how the course is organized, and instructor communication policy. These are the sorts of things we would hope you would provide to your students. A course overview, and then here's the detailed syllabus. Down here is a PDF document embedded. Now you got outcomes, instructors, all this, you know what's in a syllabus. Read that, and then go back to home.
Yes.
And to actually begin the course, you just click here where it says begin, module 1. That's the start of the course. That takes you to the first student module.
Okay.
And you just start at the top. And we have some, not that you couldn't figure out you were supposed to read this, but we have the indications of whether each one of these is just something to read or something you have to do, like an assignment, homework assignment, or a test, or a discussion. And you just read. Then at the bottom right of each page, there'll be a next button. That will just take you to the next page, or you can go back to the modules and you can just click on the next one. Either way. And just keep moving.
All right.
That's how you get started.
And that
that's
just gets me started. Okay.
And you'll only see the first
Very
module.
Well. When is?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, go right ahead. That's something you learn to deal with in Zoom. Just go right ahead.
Okay, so when is this, what time limit do I have? Because I understand it takes a lot of time. So I want to kind of pace myself.
Varying amounts of time. And the average is somewhere between 20 and 40 hours. But that probably depends more upon your dean and your department head than it does upon us. All we care about is that you finish it before June 30th of next year.
Oh my God. Okay. That was my concern. All right.
Because at that point in time, we'll close this course down and start a new one. But your dean may have other ideas. So that time limit is likely to be set by someone other than us.
Great. So June 30th of 2021.
That's when we will shut down this course and start a new one. Yes.
Okay.
You'll have
all right. Well, I will check with my.
We'll have full active access to this course until that time.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you're doing, and it's been very helpful. And I'm sure that I will be emailing you when I get an issue here.
Please do. Please do.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Anybody else? Anything else?
Oh, hi, Dave. One more. I just want to clarify that because for some reason thought the course had to be done by January of 2021.
No,
so
not for our purposes.
Oh,
your dean or your department head may have set that as a time limit.
Oh.
As far as we're concerned, you've got until next June, the end of next June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard that too with Canvas. They said January or something like that. At the end of the semester.
That's not a requirement set by Online Learning Pathways.
Okay, well.
So, but different departments and schools have different requirements on when you have to finish it.
Thank you.
Some deans are saying you have to have it done before they will finalize your teaching assignment for fall, which means you got to have it done in a hurry. But that's not something that we promulgate. That is up to your dean. We just provide the course, and the only reason we have a time limit of next year is that in order to keep the course improving, we give it a remake, a once over every year at least. Of course, we're always making minor corrections and so on, but there's a major redesign or re-upping every year. And we need to then turn the old course off and start the new one. So that's the only reason we ask you to finish it by June the 30th. The new course will be very similar to the current one, in all probability. Okay. Anything else? Ardith? Nope. Nope, you're muted.
I was going to say goodbye. Thank you. I think I'm done for today.
Goodbye to you. We'll be back on Friday with.
Yeah, see you Friday.
Friday is what is Friday? probably I should know, right? Today's the 15th. Come on, load it. Yes, Friday is the No Assumptions Introduction to Canvas.
Okay.
If you've never seen Canvas before, here's what Canvas is. Here's what you can do with it. Just the nickel tour of Canvas. So most of you all have been through that, but you're more than welcome to attend if you want to ask questions afterwards, or if you just want to refresh your memory on certain things. So love to have you. And it will be helpful perhaps in getting some information you need to complete your assignments in the training course. It may give you another look at that. So I will, hearing no further questions, unless I do, I'm perfectly happy to continue. But if I don't hear anymore, I will wish you a wonderful evening, and stay safe out there. It's getting crazy.